Hello, everyone. This is the episode 5 of You'll Never Talk Alone. Usually it's myself and Rigo. Today it's myself and Lou. Wow, what a few weeks we've had since we've done a podcast. If I'm honest, a few weeks we've had a couple of ups and downs already, a couple of decent results, and then we had Lou. Hey, if you are enjoying this podcast, there's some things you can do to help. Leave a review and rate it 5 stars. Share with your friends, family, colleagues, and head over to our YouTube channel if you want to watch the video version. Now, on to the rest of the podcast. Luton on Sunday, Lou. Where do we start with Luton? Because, I mean, we should be beating these teams. Should absolutely be beating these teams, especially if we want to be going for the title.
Yeah.
Where did it go wrong?
I went wrong everywhere, let's be honest. Look, the thing is, everyone's sort of jumping going, this is like a new thing. We lost to someone who's promoted. But then last year, I mean, we lost to Forest. We lost to Bournemouth. This isn't something new at all. This has been going on for a long time. I don't know. I really don't know. Luton was just such a disappointing result. But yeah, I really haven't got much to say about it, to be honest, in that regard. I mean, you were fuming. You were so angry after that. It was
you know what, mate? I didn't want to chat in the chat because I can't be bothered sometimes. I just can't be bothered even responding because people don't listen and people mishear things and misunderstand things, and it just gets in the complete argument. It doesn't need to be an argument. I'd just rather wallow in my own sorrows and then move on in my own pace. So I just think it was the fact that, you know, we had a chance there to pick up points on what Arsenal, Tottenham. We didn't know Tottenham were going to lose, but they did on Monday, and
they got thumped. Absolutely, thumped as well.
It was just an absolute wasted opportunity, wasn't it? Apart from City, you know. But
I mean, yeah, but City. I mean, at this point, you don't really expect them to drop points. So I don't really. I think I said on the one before, I spoke before we went on, whenever the other teams around us seem to drop points, we do the exact same thing at the minute. And I don't want to be too down about it because obviously we're still doing really well in regards to where we are in the table. But like I said, we should be beating Luton. There's no.
You expect to drop points, don't you? That's the thing. You expect to drop points, but it's Luton. I mean, you go back over like Brighton. We got a draw there. Tottenham, we should have got at least a draw against Tottenham. I mean, there's plenty to talk about that, but you can't be dropping points to Luton. And people say it's going to be an hard place to go. But we're Liverpool Football Club. We know we're Liverpool. We shouldn't be. This is a team that's been walloped pretty much, not every week, but quite a lot of times this season already. You know, a lot of people saying they're still like a championship level club. We shouldn't be even like outplaying. I know we dominated the ball. People say we're going to dominate the ball, but we're going to expect to dominate the ball. We're expected to dominate the ball 95%. It doesn't mean you played well. It doesn't mean you dominate the ball.
If you keep it but don't do anything with it, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Luton play better than us. I really do. Yeah. I honestly think they play better than us. And I think they worked harder off the ball. I think they worked harder on the ball. And in those games, if you just don't turn up mentally and you just don't turn up like, you're not working hard enough off the ball, you're going to lose them. And especially at midfield, if you can't win the midfield battle, you've lost the match.
Luton, let's be honest, when they came up, teams can often come up and they've got that bounce about them. And I think because Luton, they've got that story of not too long ago, they were in the conference and they've come up and the ground's very the fans are close. Do you know what I mean? So the atmosphere is always going to be hostile. And I think it was at Sheffield 2-3 seasons ago, they come up, everyone goes, they're going to go straight back down. And then they end up finishing 7th. So, you've got to give Luton credit. I thought they were outstanding at what they did. They went out there with a game plan and it worked. And we struggle against teams that have a deep line. And I just don't think we've found a way yet to deal with that necessarily.
Do you think there would have been a way? Do you think it would have been weird to actually deal with? I think, for example, pushing McAllister further forward, I think would have beaten Luton. Because I mean, you're saying there we're lacking that sort of creativity around the box. McAllister gives that, and breaking those teams down, you need that a player that can play those intricate passes in those areas. Maybe like an RB Elliott or someone like that. But mainly McAllister, and he does it for Argentina. He did it for Brighton a lot. That's why he got a lot of goals. That's why he got a lot of assists because he's always there and thereabouts. I just think we're wasting McAllister where he is. What do you think about the performances though? Because I saw in the chat the other day, and I see on Twitter sometimes people saying that's our first bad performance. I think that's an utter bull, if I'm honest. It's not our first worst performance. I think that's our I think that's our first proper bad result. Tottenham game aside, that was down to incompetence from referees, but that was our first bad result. But for performance, I think that's a lot of. I don't think people are being true to themselves. I don't think people are being honest. I think that's complete bias to say it's our first bad performance because Everton, Forest, Bournemouth, list goes on. I don't think we've played amazing one match, all season, apart from the Villa game as a whole.
I don't even think the Brighton game was a good result in a way. I'm not being funny. I think Villa are better than Brighton, and us dropping those 2 points against Brighton. It's the Amex Arena Stadium. You can lose points, but I agree. I think it's because we've set a standard so high that I know what I'm trying to say. It's just difficult to explain. It's the sign of champions when you can nick results when you play badly.
Yeah.
But you can't do it every game. There's got to be.
It's not sustainable.
No, it doesn't last. And like you say, like McAllister could have been further forward, but there's no one behind him to sort of offer that extra bit of defense. I think Harvey Elliott needs to play more because when he plays, he has an impact. Like he got the assist then, the Newcastle game. I think he got the assist or he set up Salah or something like that. So it's just we need to get out of this rut of while we're scoring all these goals, it's great, but to get that first initial goal, we seem to really struggle, or we need a sort of like a wake up call, like Bournemouth when every team scores against us first, and you do that against the City, they're gonna wallop, they're gonna knock you off the park. So we just need to get out of that habit. And like, I know people will say, you're negative about it, and you've got this and you've got that, but it's true. Like the performances at times have been good. Like you say, Villa for the opening 20 minutes against Chelsea, and we've been getting results, but Luton have sussed it out the way to sort of get around us at the moment. And if more teams keep doing it, eventually people are going to go, well, yeah,
and they're going to act surprised. I say act surprised. I think some of them actually are going to be surprised. If we drop to Brentford now and then we lose the City, we're falling further behind. Everyone's like, where's this come from? It's been coming a long time because the performances aren't being good enough.
I think we've been carried by players, certain individuals, like Szoboszlai.
And moments. And that's what Man United did like 2 years ago on Dolly. 2-3 years ago on Dolly. And we were saying, look, your luck's going to run out, Man United. You're not a second place team. You're not a team that should be second in the league. And they found out the season after where they couldn't cope because the luck started running out. They still played the same way. And they weren't getting the results. You've got to, at some point, start playing better. And
well, like that draw, say if that draw, was against like City or Tottenham or something like that, I don't think the backlash would be as high. But because of who it was against, like you say, it's suddenly everyone goes nuts.
I don't think we should throw toys out of the pram. Some people will go the other way, that too negative, and I get this negative narrative thrown at me a lot, right? And I don't think I'm even that bad, to be honest. I'm only negative when it needs to be negative, and I'm truthful about it. But when it's positive, I'm as positive as anyone else. But I just don't think people get that, and people don't see that. There's I don't know if it's just I don't know. It does do me in this negative thing because I'm only telling the truth. I was negative last season before the season started, and we got into a massive argument. You weren't here, but we got into a massive argument where I said our midfield's not good enough going into last season. I said my midfield's not good enough. I got thrown under a bus a few times, and to the point where I just stopped talking again. And obviously, what happened played out, and our midfield wasn't good enough. So, and someone apologized for that, and someone else didn't apologize, but. Sometimes you've got to be truthful. I think there's toxic negativity, there's also toxic positivity, and so that's not the real world for me. And the real world is you've got to be honest about your own team. Don't be over biased. I'm going to have bias in my, in my bones because It's Liverpool. That's how you do as Liverpool. I think every football fan bias some way to their team, but don't be over biased and don't lie. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be truthful. The real world is the real world.
I don't agree with this whole like I've heard people since saying like Nunez is rubbish, Salah doesn't turn up in game. Like I've heard all sorts, and it's football's such people turn at like the drop of a hat. Like you do it, so we could win. Yeah, literally. Like we could win 10 in a row. Oh my god, we're the best team in the world. We lose one game, we're awful. And I think that's just the sort of like everyone jumps. There's no sort of in between. It's either everyone's either extremely positive or extremely negative. And at the moment, we're in a bit of a negative thing because of this result. But if we then beat Brentford next week, I'll be feeling more positive. Like I can't sit here and say I think we've been awful, but I can't sit here and say that we've been our absolute best.
Yeah, there's a medium. There's always a medium, and that's what people need to use a bit more often. Like I said, if we beat Brentford and we go and beat City, that Luton game's completely forgotten.
Yeah.
It's done. It's completely forgotten. But if we drop to Brentford, I know we're home, but if we drop to Brentford and then also got City after the international break, that could be more points dropped. You're looking at that Luton game as being like, why didn't we win that game again?
Yeah.
I think it's all contextual. I think it's all over time. It sort of pans itself out and say it was that Luton game drops. I don't want to go to the end of the season and say, look, if we lose the league by like 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, something like that, and say, well, we lost it because Tottenham cheated us. We lost it because we drew with Luton. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was the 13-14 season, and I think we lost it obviously by like 2 points or something daft like that. We lost to Hull that season. We lost to Southampton that season. Like, that's just the way it is. And like you say, if we go to the end of the season and we've dropped points to Luton, it could cost us. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. And we've been in that situation several times where we've lost the league by 1 point. It's, it could happen again. So we just need to turn these smaller teams. Like, where do you think it was lost? Like, do you think it was we were beaten mentally that game, or do you think it was just purely tactical, like a tactical breakdown?
I think it was more mental. I do think it was more mental. I don't know if it was like we overestimated ourselves and underestimated Luton, but
I thought that.
I just think Luton really wanted it. And you could tell when they were off the ball, they were sprinting after our defenders every time. Their press is unbelievable on Sunday. And obviously, they haven't got the talented players that we've got. They've got some decent players, but they haven't got the talent we've got.
Yeah.
And sometimes talent can only take you so far. And I think that's why we lost it. I think, obviously, we had glorious chances with Darwin Nunez, but as a whole performance, you can't just highlight Darwin Nunez as an individual and say you should have scored them.
No.
If we had scored them, would have won. Yeah, obviously, but the whole team as a whole performance, I don't think was up for it. I don't know about you.
I mean, like you touched on it there, Darwin. Like I've been wanting to ask you this for like a few days actually. Where do you sort of stand on this whole like 1 minute he's got a contribution every 62 minutes? He's the second coming of Torres and all this stuff. And then he has that game against Luton and then suddenly he's rubbish. He needs to get that out of him. He needs to score goals. Like, what do you think he is the man for us? Or do you think which way you sort of leaning a bit more with Darwin?
I think he is the man for us, but I don't think we should be on this like, oh, we love this sort of like the way he is, and he's like a walking meme, isn't it? But we shouldn't like highlight that sort of thing. I don't think other fans are laughing at it because 1 minute he'll miss a chance like that, and the next minute he puts in a worldie. I mean, just last week, the goal last week where he's poor touch, and then he ended up back in the top corner. So I just think, but if he doesn't pull out that worldie, then he's let us down. Like Luton, we can't have this. It's a catch-22. I think it's a catch-22. You can also. I love how the way he plays. I love how wild it is in this Nunez ball sort of thing. And I think we should stop like talking about that and just put this confidence into the player and say, look, you actually are a decent footballer. You can score goals. We don't want this like it's part of this game, this massive like madness. But winning games like that, it costs us, and we can't have that. we can't have him being a walking meme. We need him to be scoring goals, the fighting goals.
Yeah.
And when people say it's the new Torres wouldn't miss chances. He barely missed chances. Torres is one of the best finishers I've ever seen in football.
Yeah, I agree. But then you've got the Torres miss against United when he was at Chelsea. Like, everyone misses.
I think that was a different Torres, but I think the clone person. I'm talking about like slick hair, headband, blonde hair Torres. That was that was different. That was different level. That was like best in the world Torres. But Nunez, I think he has the potential. I mean, Klopp said it himself. He could be the best in the world. He can. I just think he needs to. I don't know what it is. He seems to like overthink things. I've seen a lot of strikers do this in the past, where they overthink things when it's easy, but when it's hard, they don't think. They're like they're based on reactions. I think when he gets a hard chance, it just goes for it. There's no thought into it. But when he's like one-on-one with the keeper, how much thought's going through your head? I don't think he's cool like that. I think he's got the talent. I think he can finish, but I don't think he's cool.
Yeah.
And is that a mentality thing? I don't know.
I don't know. He's like you said. He's got that thing on him where he can score the stupid goals that you shouldn't be able to, but then he'll miss like the easiest of chances. And I don't know if it's overconfidence or it's his own genuine ability. He comes from the Portuguese league, which is all about, flash and flair. That maybe that's to do. I don't know, but I made the point a few weeks ago. I think Nunez gets an exceptional amount of criticism because when we signed him, he wasn't the position we needed, and it was a lot of money. So, like, if that was a midfielder, he'd get scrutiny, but everyone would be like, it's a midfielder, it's taking time, blah, blah. Because Nunez came as sort of the unwanted child, so to speak. Everyone's sort of giving him that extra bit of scrutiny. So when he doesn't perform, it's like the pitchforks are out. And I do feel sorry for him in a way, because there's only so many times you can sort of go, I don't care what everyone thinks. I'm just going to do what I want to do, kind of thing. Because eventually it could, it can have an effect on him. And I don't want that. I love Nunez. I think he's great, but he needs to start scoring. It sounds daft, like the simple goals. Like Origi could do it, where he could score a tap in, but he could score a worldie when he needed to. And I'm not saying they're the same level, Origi's Origi, but you know what I mean? Like he needs that nice middle ground.
I mean, the best strikers in league history are the ones that can score the tap-ins. I mean, the best thing about him is his movement. His movement's incredible. He gets these chances after chance after chances. He has got like Edison Cavani sort of level movement. And it makes no sense for a striker that's got that movement not to have the finishing too, because he must have, growing up in that sort of position and having that movement, he must have had these chances over and over and over again as a child. So, one of the best strikers ever. I don't want to talk about Man United players here, but Van Nistelrooy, he only scored tap-ins. He only scored tap-ins, but the amount, the stats that he had and the goals that he scored.
Well, Haaland's doing it now.
Haaland only scores tap-ins, really, yeah. He's very, very scores absolute world is. Nunez scores better goals. If you did like a top 10 best goals, Nunez will have better goals than Haaland.
Yeah. Well, Haaland had the bicycle kick last season. I think that was about it. Yeah.
They're all tap-ins or penalties. Yeah. And that's why he's the top goal scorer in the league. And I think Nunez has got that movement Haaland's got. It just needs, I think it's the coolness of the finishing. And I think it does come down to mentality more than ability. He can do it. We saw it when he played against in the Champions League. He scored every touch he had. He scored. Even he got offside a couple of times, didn't he? And he still scored them. Unbelievable finishes. So he's got it, and he can score. I think it's a mentality thing more than anything. I think if he just works on his just be cool and be calm. But that's not him, is it? That's what I'm saying. It's the erraticness. No. And do we want to feel it? As much as we love the erraticness, we don't need it when we need these goals going in. We need a calm head.
Yeah, it's. I think because we've had Firmino for so long, who's been that calm, like you say, coolness. Just like he was scoring no look goals, and he was just so relaxed. And then you've got Nunez who comes in and he's this
complete opposite.
Yeah, the complete opposite. He just wants to run and just be wherever he wants. And yeah, he's a striker, and we've not had a striker as our starter for. I mean, what was the last one? Like before Firmino, it was Benteke. So it's been a while since we've had. Yeah, Sturridge, exactly. So it's been a while since we've had someone who's just the out-and-out striker, and it's going to take time for them to adapt to the system. Like Origi was a sort of get him on when the original way we play isn't working, and whereas Nunez is having to play the way we want to play, and it's going to take him time. It's been a year, but it takes people time to gel in. Suarez didn't hit the ground running in his first season. He struggled a little bit. Give him time, I think.
I think we've got the perfect manager there to get the best out of Nunez, because obviously he's going to put his arm around him, and that's what he needs. He doesn't need this criticism and saying, "Look, you've missed that, you've missed that." Just move on. We know you can do it, but it does. It's hard to say, but he does need to start showing it. Even though he's had a good goal tally this season, I think I did a video the other day before the Luton match. Like a goal every 64 minutes. That's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. But he needs to start putting. He would be top goal scorer if he's sorted his coolness out and sorted his composure out. He'd be top goal scorer along with that.
Oh yeah, but people got to think as well. He's a 20. Well, he was 21 or 22 at the time. He's a 22-year-old kid who's come from a different country. He doesn't speak the language. It's a big, and for 85 odd million, like it's a big task. Like no one's going to feel comfortable doing that like straight away.
Do you think they feel the price tag sometimes? Do you think they feel the price tag? We've seen it in the past, haven't they? It normally players that do it.
Yeah. If you look at anyone who's been signed for over 100 million, there's probably only like 2 or 3 of the 15 plus now who have actually done well, and that would be like Declan Rice.
Do you think that comes with age as well, though? Do you think that comes with age? Because obviously Van Dijk and Alisson were bought at that sort of region of price, but they had age and maturity on their side, so they were able to deal with that sort of pressure of the price. They sort of didn't look the price. They didn't look at the price and think, "Oh, I need to be that sort of player." They just gradually go into that price, and then Van Dijk's made up more than made up for his money. Alisson Becker's more than made up for his money. Do you think that's the age thing? Because obviously you said Nunez is 22. You look at the Man United signings that didn't work out. They were mainly young lads that might have let the price get to them a little bit.
I mean, possibly, yeah. It's like Caicedo at the minute struggling, and because most of the talks around price tag. Like it could be an age thing, but then like certain players just have it in them, I think, to sort of shrug that off and not care. Like Declan Rice is one now who I know he's a bit older, obviously, but he's looking fantastic. Some people just have it in them to be able to do it. But yeah, I do think it's going to have an effect, because there's pressure before you even... If we signed him for, like, say, Iago Aspas, when he came in, we signed him for pennies. There was no expectations. No one really cared when he left. If Nunez came in for 15 million, there wouldn't be all this pressure. So he's come in with that extra level of...
Already, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a lot to come into. Like if I said to you, when Coutinho went to Barcelona, 115 odd million, that's going to be sitting on his mind. So,
Coutinho is a perfect example, isn't he? He was on 24 when he moved from us. He was only young. We got him really young from Inter, didn't we? We got him young from Inter. We only got like 20-year-old from Inter, 21, 22.
Coutinho.
But I just think the price tag, I think it's more coming from like rivals for the price tag. I don't think as Liverpool fans, we don't look at the price tag for Nunez. If he's backing it up on the pitch, we don't look at the price tag anyway. I don't even look at the price tag now. And if he's not backing it up on the pitch, it's mainly from rivals. It's I think now Nunez obviously is that sort of character where people pick up on it, and I said the erraticness, but it becomes a meme then for the rest of the rivals. And if he misses a chance, they're going to jump straight on it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's important now for like I said, Klopp to put his arm around him and say, look, the rivals are rivals. I can guarantee you now there'll be Chelsea fans, Man United fans, Arsenal fans begging for Nunez to start for them. Begging for Nunez.
Arsenal. I think Arsenal would. There's
only City, really. There's only City that can look at us and say, we don't need him.
Yeah.
Everyone else, they can banter all they want. They take him in a heartbeat. Man United fans were gutted when they didn't get him. Gutted when they didn't get him.
They've got Anthony Martial still up front, like it's
and Highland. So
yeah.
I think Highland. If I'm honest, I do think Highland's a decent player. I just think he's been thrown into like a Shark Tank
Yeah, I mean, look, no one's going to do well at United. That's just at the minute the way it's going. It's a disaster. But like,
going on back into individual performance, and Lou on Sunday, also Darwin Nunez missed his chances, and he should have. I think he had like 10 shots in the end or something like that. It was like at least 5 or 6 in the first half. Anyone else that disappointed you? Apart from the whole team disappointed, but is anyone that stood out for you on Sunday?
I mean, Salah. He didn't have the best game, but Salah's one of those people, like, he can have a bad game and he can still score. You can't do it against a team that's playing that deep. He likes the space in behind, so to speak. I think he disappointed. I don't want to rag on us too much, but like, he disappointed. I think Konate maybe could have handled certain situations a bit better. Like,
that was one of the worst performances I've seen from Konate.
Yeah, that was
really rare what you see for a performance from him.
Yeah, I thought that would have been ideal for him because the counter attack is based on pace. I thought he would have been in his element there to be able to track back. Trent, he got caught for like too far forward so many times, which obviously he's trying to cross the ball in to break them down. But then that one we spoke about before, where the winger shrugs him off and then goes through the legs of Konate, and it was just poor. Like, overall, I didn't like Gomez necessarily as left back. I think that limited.
He was I think he was quite rapid. We were giving needless fouls away.
Yeah, definitely.
You'd think someone a bit more experienced like that wouldn't do that, and it's hard with that left back position. Obviously, Tsimikas hasn't been doing much when he's played there. Gomez is not a left back anyway, and I think we do miss Robbo big time. But
Tsimikas offers creativity though. Gomez doesn't. Who was it we played? Was it Bournemouth we played the game before? And like, every time Gomez went forward,
Forest.
Was it Forest? The one Gomez was right back. Was it Forest? Not the league. Like, we had a midweek game, didn't we, or something?
Oh, the midweek. Oh, yeah, it was.
And like, he was right back, and every time he got forward, he was so hesitant to cross the ball in. And I think putting him on that left side, it meant all the creativity was just coming from the right, and Forest knew how to sort of stop that. So it was the wrong choice, I think, putting him. I don't know if you agree or not. I mean, me and
Rigo have had a big conversation about Gomez. He's like, Gomez is biggest fan, and I've always said I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough. He's had decent games. He's been all right this season, but I just don't think. I don't trust him, and I don't trust him certainly at left back. I don't trust him at centre back. And they were talking about putting like Trent into midfield and putting Gomez. It won't work. It just won't work. And the Trent thing, I don't blame Trent. I just think it's the lack of DM, and the fact that he's going forward and there's massive holes, and that's why it's always on Konate to cover. And if we've got not a proper DM there, they're not covering Konate's position. So it's just, there's always going to be a hole somewhere without that proper DM. With Trent, I think his passing game was on it though on Sunday. I think Trent's passing was the only thing that was creating the chances. But again, you say it goes back to his defending, but I think it's more of a team thing than Trent. Obviously, he has his moments where he should be tackling, like they said, the moment where he got shrugged off too easy. But in terms of the whole team system, I think it's letting him down, and that's the lack of DM. That's the lack of DM, and I said this was going to happen before the season. Call me negative, but that's just the way it is. I've kicked a ball in my life, so I know what I'm on about. So it's true. It's true. It's true. Like, I played DM. I know what it takes. For people to. I know what kind of play that you need in that position. I know what it allows the other players to do. So it's massive. Speaking of DM, then going on to Andre. There's rumours now, and there's reports coming out that we're not even going for Andre. Fulham's the lead in the race. What's going on? Because it pretty much looked like Andre said his goodbyes on Saturday.
Are you telling me he's going Fulham? Please don't say it. Genuinely, is that a thing?
That he's leading the race. Fulham's leading the race.
Oh, God,
and that's why there's talk like people's been saying like, oh, does that mean Paulinho's going to be free? I think they're going to want Paulinho and Andre to play together.
I imagine so. I don't. Paulinho's been dreadful this season, to be honest. He doesn't want to be there, quite honestly. But like, was it Jean-Michel Seri who went to Fulham, and he had this pick
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
Barcelona and all that. Like, and he went full.
Yeah, it was good for like 2 games. He scored a world, didn't he?
Yeah.
He scored that world, and then that was it. He died down, didn't he?
I don't want to lose Andre. I'll get onto him in a second, but like, if we were going to lose him, I'd rather lose him to someone who's like a rival or better. Fulham, for God's sake, that's just awful. No offense.
I don't know. Would you rather lose to a rival? I get it. Like ego
for pride.
Egotistically, you wouldn't want him to lose to to Fulham, but I think he's better in going to Fulham than a rival if he's a good player.
Oh God, I don't know. Yeah, just get him, just sign him. FSG, please, just sign him.
I mean, I can't. If we don't sign, I'm still annoyed that we didn't sign a DM in summer. I'm still annoyed about that. That still ripples in me. And I did the video obviously online. It went on Twitter. I think 8% of people back me, but then that 20% go with abuse, and they come and abuse me and saying, trust Jurgen Klopp. But I do trust Jurgen Klopp. It's not Jurgen Klopp I don't trust in this. Jurgen Klopp wants a DM. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone for Caicedo and Lavia. So he clearly wants a DM. So it's not Jurgen Klopp I don't trust. But it's just a lack of ambition from FSG. And I don't want to talk about FSG, but it's true. It's so true. If we didn't sell Henderson and Fabinho, I don't think we'd have got like Gravenberch, for example. We shouldn't have to sell these players that weren't even planning on selling for a start off. We should have gone out and said, look, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and a DM. I like the Hendo signing, and people say you're always negative about Hendo. I've always said I like the Hendo signing for Milner replacement.
Yeah.
But if he's going to be our only out and out DM, that's not good enough.
No.
Because it's clear that is not good enough to play a DM at Premier League level.
I think
we saw that against Bournemouth in the cup. Was it the Bournemouth game in the cup where he was out of his depth for a little bit? Yeah, it was out of his depth a little bit because it was a Premier League side. It's been decent in the Europa League. But
you look at Toulouse are the best team in our group, and they've only just been promoted into the French league, so it's like you say, levels. Bournemouth I'd say they're better than them, but like
Bournemouth maybe laughed at like a lower team, but they've been in the Premier League quite a few years now. So they are a sustained Premier League side, it's an established Premier League side. So
they've got good players. It's just the manager's wrong for them, but they've got a team. They've got a good team there. Like I've never been a fan in England of the deep line playmaker. I'd rather you look at every team that's won the Premier League and they've had a rock solid, just brick wall number 6. Yeah, like we had Fabinho. Obviously, Kante was smaller, but he was,
even Makelele back in the day.
Makelele, Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, like Matic, Fernandinho. Every team's had just a brick wall CDM, and I think the deep line playmaker works more in, say, like Italy, where the game's slower and people don't press as much. But in England, if you're not like physically up to it, you just get shrugged off. And
it works. I think in England it works as a double pivot, where Mascherano Alonso deep line playmaker, but he still had Mascherano next to him doing the dirty work. McAllister can be seen as a deep line playmaker, as in a double pivot, but he still has Caicedo next to him doing the dirty work. It doesn't work as a lone 6, certainly not. And this is why we're seeing what we're seeing now with McAllister. It doesn't work as a lone 6. We need that player that can get involved, get the ball back ASAP. Look, if we got Declan Rice, mate, we'll be top of the league.
With Declan Rice, 100%.
I'm not saying we should go out and pay 100 million. That's the price. It's a bit like, I think it's like a carousel where every summer there's a position which is overpriced more than any other position. Yeah. 1 year strikers, but DMs have been, last couple of years, DMs have been so important. People have had to pay 80, 100 million for the DMs because it's been that important. And a lot of people have been missing their DMs. And Arsenal,
it's a big thing. Like you said.
Massive. It's like a keeper or a striker.
Yeah.
And Arsenal
pivot, it's the movement. Yeah.
We might have laughed at us saying, as if he paid 100 million. But look at what he's doing for him.
Yeah.
He wins the ball back every single time, and he's key in, especially big matches, is absolutely key. And that's where I think we're going to be a title challenger, but I don't think we'll win the title because of the DDM. And it's mad. It's mad that a club like Liverpool should be worrying about that. I think I still been happy keeping Fabinho, mate, if I'm honest. I mean, he had a poor season, but he picked up towards the end when we changed that system.
But like Fabinho, though, if he had Szoboszlai and McAllister and Gravenberch in front of him, he'd be flying. One of the main reasons he struggled is because he started to get older. But like Henderson, I love Henderson, but everyone could see he dipped. He had Henderson, Milner, Naby Keita, Thiago, and Ox were just on the injury bench most of the season. And like if you put Fabinho now with those players around him, like I think it was in the summer, and there was Wijnaldum had been released by Roma or something like that. I was begging to get Wijnaldum. I was like, just sign him on a loan, even if it was just for a year, just someone a bit more robust. I'd have been happy with that. Like the players they've got around them now, Fabinho doesn't have to be the fastest player because he's got people around him who can do the hard work. He just needs to sit where he is and just stop anyone getting past him. He doesn't even need to go further than the halfway line. Like, just stay back if you haven't got the legs to do it. We've seen people in the past do it where they've been not maybe carried, but like Fernandinho for City, he was not the most mobile player. Yeah, but like
he had the brains, didn't he? He had the brains.
Yeah, exactly.
He had the brains.
So it works.
So let's talk about the expectations of the season then. Say January we get a DM, whether it's Andre or someone else. Andre might not be proper out and out DM, but I think he'd play well alongside McAllister as a double pivot. If we got a DM in January, what would your expectations be? If we didn't get one, what would your expectations be?
I still think top 4 is the expectation. I didn't go into this season saying we're going to win the league. We need to be aiming for the league because we're in transition season. I'd be happy with, if we don't get a CDM, I still think we can get top 4, but it'll be more of a fight. If we were to get Andre, I still think we get it, but it'd be a bit more convincing. Like if I get signed a CDM would maybe be the difference between us finishing 4th and us finishing 2nd or 3rd. But I'd be happy with top 4 and a Carabao Cup, and then have a go in the Europa League. Like that's my. What are you thinking? Like,
I think if we're going to get top 4, I think Europa League's a minimum.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't think we're that far behind. I know it's transition, but I think we're like Szoboszlai and Gravenberch have hit the ground running. I think if we played McAllister in his best position, I think he'd take long to transition in better. I still think, last season I just see that season. It was coming because the midfield was just terrible, and this is why I called it out before the season. But I still think on this day we can beat anyone, and the defense we've got is unbelievable. Keeper best in the world. Our strike force is probably the best strike force in the world in terms of as a whole. I think City have got obviously they've got Grealish, Alvarez, Doku, and Haaland. Very, very good. But I think ours in terms of goals is better as well. As spread out like Salah, Jota, Nunez, Diaz, Gakpo, they all can score goals. I think we should still win the. I think we can win the league. We should be challenging. I think we should be. I think we've got the team to challenge. But I've always said we'll always fall short because of DM, and that is not on. I can't be disappointed like the club or the team as a whole. I know where my disappointment lies. It lies with FSG, and that, if they said here's money if you go get a DM, we clearly need one if we want to go win this title. It's hard. I don't know if I can say top 4's enough, especially without a trophy, because under Jurgen Klopp's not going to be here for long enough. He's not going to be if he does leave in 2026. We're still not winning these trophies for him, and he's still going to be leaving. He's not got a legacy where he deserves. If I'm honest.
If I said to you then, okay, so would you rather finish top 4 with nothing, or would you rather finish outside the top 4 and win a trophy? I mean, what's your preference?
If it were the Europa League, I wouldn't accept finishing out the top 4. I can't accept not finishing out the top 4. But if it was the Europa League, and we got a Champions League that way, you'd have to get Champions League that way. It's hard, isn't it? If it was like Carabao Cup and FA Cup, no.
Oh, really?
We need top four. We need top four. Just we're not a Europa League side. We need Champions League football, and if we want to keep the players as well, like Salah, I think Salah stays. I think Salah stays on if there's like potential there of winning Champions League again or winning the Premier League again. And if we don't, I think Salah leaves. I think, what are our expectations for the future now? Because Jurgen Klopp's only got 2 seasons left after this one. So,
he does, yeah.
So what are we gonna happy just to have one Premier League, one Champions League, one FA Cup, one Carabao Cup?
Well, this was my sort of concern. Was like when we won the Prem, we then had a season or two where we didn't win anything, or a season even. And my biggest concern was that every trophy that we won under Klopp would have been condensed to 2 years, and then we had 4 or 5 without anything. I think if you're in a season where like you're transitioning like we are this year, you need to win like a League Cup or an FA Cup just to sort of keep things.
I believe we might have won the Carabao Cup last season.
Well, yeah, exactly, literally. And I think it was the season with Mourinho, they won the Europa League and the Carabao Cup again. So it just keeps it going along smoothly. But like when you said before about we can't go for the Europa League and the Prem, I don't necessarily agree, only because was it the 18-19 and we won the Champions League and got to within touch and distance of the Prem.
I think we can go. I think we can win both.
Oh, do you think? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I think we can win both. Both. I just think in terms of the league, it's more impossible because of the DM situation. Europa League, I think we should be winning the Europa League. You know, when it came out, you know, they did that the way they do the systems and do the ratings of each team. We were miles ahead of everyone else in that competition. And even if like certain teams come down from Champions League, I still think we're better than them. Who's coming down. There's not many teams in world football. I still don't think we're not better than them in terms of a whole. And I mean, as a whole 11, how many teams can you name that's better than 11 than Liverpool's 11 in the world?
But like, do we put not the bad performance, so to speak, but do you put this down solely to CDM, or do you think there's anything else around the team? Because I agree with what Jamie Carragher said. I still think we need a defensive-minded right back to sort of just solidify that back four. I mean, do you think it is just CDM?
That's a tricky one, that, you know. I agree that we need a backup right back to defend, but I think once you get that DM, you'll see the change in the right back. I mean, the when we went to that inverted role last season, and we got Gakpo in January, and Fabinho picked up his performance. And when Fabinho picked up performances, it allowed Trent to do that, and it worked. We weren't struggling. We went on a winning streak.
No, yeah.
So I think that DM is that important. I'm not saying we get a DM, that's it, we'll win it league, that's it. You know, everything turns around, we're going to be unbelievable every single week. Don't well like that. But I just think the right back situation sort of solves itself a little bit more. I think Konate gets better because he's not doing all that right hand side by himself, and Trent does move forward. I think McAllister gets better. He gets pushed into his natural position. I think Szoboszlai and Gravenberch even get better because they've got someone behind them. They don't have to worry about that as much, like getting back. Obviously, still got to get back, but they don't have to worry about that all the time. I just think the whole team becomes better with a proper DM. I really do. I honestly do. And you see it when, I mean, look at Leicester City. They lost Kante. They won the league. They lost Kante, lost Mahrez.
Yeah.
And it collapsed. I'm not saying they were going to win the league again, obviously, but they completely collapsed. Yeah. And now they're relegated to Championship. And it started with the loss of the DM and Mahrez. That DM is so important, mate. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah, DM is the biggest. Like Pep himself has said, like Busquets. Obviously, Xavi and Iniesta and Messi, you know, huge thing. But Busquets was the one who he was the core of it. Yeah, he held it together. The CDM is the pivot, getting things from back to front. Like it's so vital. But like, do you think? Because I thought about this before. Do you think one reason why we might not sort of get Andre is because we've still got players like Thiago eating up the wages? We've still got Badge Titch to come back. There's a lot of midfielders now. I mean, we've gone suddenly from having no midfield to possibly too many. So, I mean, do you think that's something maybe they're considering, knowing FSG the way they work?
I can't even consider Thiago as an option anymore.
No, I don't. I'm sick of him, to be honest.
And this is why people say, well, we've got too many midfielders and stuff, but we haven't. I still don't consider Elliott as a midfielder. I always consider him as like a cam, maybe an impact player off the bench against certain teams. Like that's why I worked against Luton. That certain team where, but you wouldn't bring him on against Man City change game. He wouldn't do that. It's a different kind of ball game. And Thiago again, I don't count as an option. Endo again, is he up to the levels of Premier League? There's still an if and buts with that. So have we got too many midfielders? I don't think we have. I still think we're lacking.
Yeah,
massive as a whole. And this whole don't sign someone if they want to be on bench. It's not about being on the bench. It's about competition.
Yeah.
Grealish didn't go to Man City to stand on the bench. He went there for his competition and to take a place. Look at us. We've proved it in the past that competition works. We signed Diaz, even though we had Mane on the left wing. We signed Diaz. Mane was playing poor at the time, and when Diaz came in, we moved Mane to centre, and Mane was a different player when Diaz came in. He sort of like kicked him at the backside. Again, it happened with Robbo. Robbo was playing very, very poor. We signed Tsimikas for competition, and Tsimikas hit the ground. I think Tsimikas started really well. If I'm honest, he was like, "Who was this guy?" And Robbo started to pick up then. This competition is so important. That's why I wanted Kef and Thuram to come in, even though we've still got Gravenberch. So I was like, Kef and Thuram on the bench keeps everyone on the toes.
Yeah.
Play a poor game, McAllister, you're off. Play a poor game, Gravenberch, you're off.
Well, you said it was City then. They've got 2 or 3 players for every position.
And we don't need 2 World 11s. We don't need 2 World 11s. We just need a bit of competition. Even back in the day, in the 90s, look at Man United's strike force. They had Cole York and Solskjaer Sheringham.
Yeah.
Solskjaer Sheringham was good enough to get in any other team.
Yeah.
He had 4 strikers, and that was 90s. That's not these days where, squad depth is even more needed. But that was the 90s. They had 4 world-class strikers. And they still had squad players that would keep people on toes. Even like Park Ji-sung going into the big games. He kept people on toes, Park Ji-sung did.
Yeah.
Very underrated player. But that's what we need.
I mean, the competition's important. As long as you're not signing someone on astronomical wages. As long as it's someone. But I said in the video on my channel, I would like to see, just an example, sell Tsimikas in the summer, promote Luke Chambers to the backup left back, because I think we've got a good core of academy and youth players that we don't maybe necessarily need to sign as many people as people are thinking. But I do agree that we need to sign people for that competition to keep everyone on the toes, exactly like you say. And Thiago, I've started to use the comparison. It's like if I bought a Ferrari but then didn't fill it with petrol, it's costing me loads on road tax, loads on insurance, but I can't drive the thing. So what's the point? It's things like that. I agree. It was just a case of, I was thinking in my head, our FSG in the way they operate, thinking Thiago's on really high wages. We can't justify bringing someone else in when he's getting paid 250, 200 a week. Badge still to come back. We've just signed all these new midfielders on long-term contracts. That's the only possible reason I can see them for not going out and trying to sign Andre. Because did you watch the final on Saturday?
Oh, I've watched parts. I watched it mainly I think extended highlights when I watched it.
Yeah, he's
and
just
he was a standout player.
He's so good, and it's so strange because he's not like a typical CDM like I was describing before. He's not just a brick wall, win the ball back, but he reminds me of N'Golo Kante, where he'll put in a tackle
drives the ball
and then he'll drives it forward, and that is a Klopp player. I know I'm sort of contradicting myself a bit there, but what he lacks in physicality, he makes up for with mental. I'm just going to win this ball back. I will get stuck in, and he might bounce back. He might get stupid amount of yellows, but it's 25 million. Just do it. Just if we were willing to bid 150 in for Caicedo, get Andre for 20 to 25. Don't let Fulham have him, please. Just don't give him to Fulham.
We're losing.
I'll be so upset. Oh, we're not. I'll be so upset.
If we want to get, even if it wasn't Andre, if we want to get a CDM, if CDM wasn't even in the mindset of what we're going into in January, I just think it shows the ambition. I think it exposes the ambition, and I really do, because for me, I talked to you before, didn't I, about how important January signings are. Sometimes, especially if you want to go win the league and you see the opportunity to win the league. We bought Diaz in January, changed the way we weren't on a quad run, by the way, before we got Diaz. We wasn't on a quad run. We were playing poor in the league.
Yeah.
Until we signed Diaz, and then we went on a quad run. Again last season with Gakpo, we were poor again. Gakpo got signed. Ambition changed a little bit. Everyone got that kick up the backside. Everyone got that new belief in themselves. We played a little bit of a new system, and we went on a winning run, narrowly missing out on top 4. If we don't go get a DM in January, I won't be surprised, but I'll be just absolutely disappointed because I think it exposes the ambitions. I don't think they're bothered about winning the league, FSG. I don't believe they're bothered about winning the league. As long as their money's racking over, I think that's all they care about. And people are going to say, well, they bought us this, bought us that in summer. We had a big summer. But we got rid of 2 big, got rid of players for 50 million. We didn't spend that much in the summer. And we're still left short. It's just the leaving short for me. I think the leaving short for me is the ambition side of things. And it's they don't want to spend that little bit extra. And that's the problem. I don't want to get £100 million players every single summer. I don't want to get 100 million. I don't want every player to be at 100 million. I think we can't be less short every time. Because if you're less short, then you're going to be less short in the league.
But it's odd though, because I agree with what you're saying. And we've had this discussion before where I'm very I can see the positives of FSG, but I can also see the negatives. Obviously, you do the same. But is the way we're doing it, I'm not saying we do things the same way as City, but City this summer only bought to replace what they sold. So they sold Gundogan, they bring in Kovacic, they sell Mahrez, they bring in Doku. And everyone was like, great window, really good window. We lose Henderson, Milner, Keita, Ox. We bring in Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Endo. I mean, it's not been a bad summer. It's just, what would you have... Do you think signing the CDM would have shown the ambition, or do you think that maybe we could have signed...
I think signing CDM would have been a game changer. I just think CDMs are too expensive for them. I know that ghost bidder for Caicedo came out on there, but there's no way they'd have bid for that if they knew. No. I don't think they'd paid it. And they were and ahhing over fucking $4 million for Lavia, for fig's sake. So they're not going to pay £100 million for Caicedo, let's be honest with ourselves. And Lavia was the first option, really.
No.
So it's hard because... And a lot of people said City had a poor window. I think they had a brilliant window.
I think they had it was a great window, that.
I mean, look at Doku now. It's unbelievable. Nunez is a very good side. I even like Kovacic. I think that was a very good. They replaced Gundogan with Kovacic and Nunez.
Yeah,
that's decent.
They've not hit the ground running, but they're still good.
They're doing bits.
Good players. Yeah.
Doku definitely has hit the ground running. Doku has been unbelievable.
Oh God, he looks fantastic. And then Gvardiol, he looks great. They've just lost Laporte and replaced them with someone just as good.
Is there any guarantee if we lost Salah next year, would we replace him?
No, but I don't think you can. And I think this is something we've...
you just said that about Mahrez. People bringing Doku in. He's not as good as Mahrez. A lot of people said, not going to replace Mahrez. You know what I'm saying?
Position?
Would we go out and replace him? Would you be confident in replacing him?
I think you'd have to. The thing is, I think with FSG, they've sort of got that thing, like you say, where we spend what we sell kind of thing. If we sold Salah for 200 million and then didn't get anything from it, there would be outrage. And I think that's something they couldn't hide from because it's so obvious. If we sold Coutinho...
I'm going to call it now. If we sell him for 200 million next season, we only spend 100.
Oh, don't say that. No.
Even if we still need I still think we need 2 centre backs, a right back and a CDM, and also a Salah replacement at some point. I still think we don't spend 100 million. I don't think we spend that all at 200 million. There's no way.
How much did we spend this summer? So Szoboszlai was 60, then Endo was 21, so that's 81. We got Gravenberch for about 20 million, was it for Gravenberch?
Yeah, it's 25 million, yeah.
And then McAllister was 30. So we spent about 150 million. So sure, if you lose Salah, I do agree they wouldn't invest the whole 200 million, but it depends. I would rather them spend 100 million if it was signing players for key areas. I'd rather that than them go out and spend £150 million on one player.
I don't think we need to spend the whole 200 million, but as long as we address every situation.
That's what I mean.
That's it. Yeah.
So
and
like,
that's what
if
we
it was
haven't been
half,
doing.
that'd be fine. Yeah.
That's what we haven't been doing. There's always a position that we've lacked. I mean, we go back to the injury season where our centre backs got injured, and we complain about injuries. We're into a season, mate, with 3 centre backs.
Yeah.
Two of them
injured. Ben Davies and
Ozan
Kabak.
And we weren't even going to sign those. That was last day of the window, wasn't it? January window. That was the last day. Yeah. Panic buy as it was. We weren't even going to sign those until Fabinho got injured, who were covering centre back.
No, I mean, you are right, and I completely agree with the ambition side of it. I think the main reason, or probably the only reason, is I think with FSG, I like the fact that we're financially stable in an age where United are in so much debt, Chelsea are in so much debt, Barcelona are crumbling. I like that we've got a stability that can last a long time. But I do agree that, like you said a few weeks ago, they're billionaires. They've got the money. Just invest that bit more.
In fact, we've turned them into billionaires, mate. It's us that's turned them into billionaires.
Yeah, exactly.
As the Golden Age was, they bought us for 300 million. We're worth like £7 billion. I'm not saying they've got that 7 billion, but they've been selling shares of it, so they've got their money back from. They've easily got their money back for the 300 million that they spent us from. Can't they give us a little bit of their money just to cover us and make sure we can go and win? You know what I'm saying? We've more than given them their money back. And people say they don't make money off us. They don't take money out of us. They take money out of us through shares.
Yeah. Like, were you happier when FSG? Like, are you happy post FSG or from that period before Gillette and Hicks, like things get really bad? Like the Benitez era. Like, were you happier during that Benitez era, or are you happier now as a fan?
I'm much happier now, and I've always thanked FSG for saving us. I actually went back. You go on Facebook Memories.
I
think a few weeks ago, where it's like 15 years ago, where FSG took us over, and I said, my Facebook status like 13 years ago, before the podcast, before anything like that, I said, thanks FSG for saving us here. I said, that's what I said. That's the words I said on my Facebook. Thanks for saving us from these absolute leeches. They're nowhere near as worse as Hicks and Gillette. They're completely different. And I always compare it to strikers. We signed Darwin, and we also signed Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll was not as bad as Darwin, but doesn't mean Andy Carroll's a good striker for us.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Andrew Darwin is Tom Hicks and Gillette. It's uncomparable.
Yeah,
but Andy Carroll is FSG. They do good bits. He did some good bits at times. Andy Carroll, even going like Peter Crouch, but he still wasn't a good striker for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think they saved us. I think they've done very well in terms of getting Klopp. Unbelievable signing. I think some business things they've done is unbelievable, and that's the Klopp thing. That's getting Michael Edwards in. But if they don't have a Michael Edwards to get the bargains and to get 25 million for Brewster, for example, I think they're knackered. I think it exposes them, and that's why we've had the drop off, and that's why we weren't won more than one title. That's why we weren't won more than one. We won the Champions League. Was it the title Champions League? We went and bought Van der Berg, Adrian, and Elliot. That's not ambition. That's not ambition.
That's Klopp. That's papering over cracks. Massive. The fact that we signed, because that was the window we got Adrian as well, and the fact that
Adrian
we won.
Van der Berg and Elliot. That was our free signings.
Yeah. And like the fact that we went and won the league, the Club World Cup, and the Super Cup that next season is Klopp. You know what I mean? Like
that was. We still had the team. We still had enough the team there, and I don't think without Coutinho money, by the way, we wouldn't be where we are, because we wouldn't have signed Van Dijk. There's no way that they put money up for Van Dijk or Alisson without Coutinho money.
Well, that was it. I think we tried for Van Dijk in the summer before, but we just couldn't match what Southampton were wanting. And like when I've always said, when we got Van Dijk is when we went from where we were to where we like that onwards was when we completely changed. So if we just invested and we signed those players like Andre, like you said, we could get so much better. And I do agree. I don't think it'll happen if it just comes down to money. I don't know. I'm not I think we still had a good window, but yeah, we do still need that. Just
it was a very good window.
Just to sort of
the signings we did get, unbelievable.
Yeah,
and no one's ever complained about the signings. It's just the left short. I think we just didn't do enough. And this is, we might have an incredible season, but we might not just do enough. And it comes down to those fine margins. And sometimes it comes down to the windows. It does.
Yeah.
Fine margins come down to windows. If you look at when we missed out on the point to City and we went on the quad run, look back at the games. The one game where against Tottenham we had, I think it was like Keita, Milner, Martin as a midfield.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened if we addressed the midfield that summer properly. That wouldn't have happened. I don't think we'd have won league. I don't think we'd have lost the league. Would have won the league, and I think we'd have won the quad. If I'm honest, I think
if we had the squad that we have now,
with that league, would have given us confidence to Champions League final.
Yeah, definitely. And my only concern is if we don't sign Andre, who do we get? Who do you think or if we get anyone? Like, say if we just miss Andre and we don't get anyone in January, we go into summer. Do you think we go back for Andre, or do you think we get someone cheap and cheap?
I think we've got to go someone unbelievable. I think we've got to go to like a Tchouaméni. I know we might not get Tchouaméni, but we've still got to try. It's hard, isn't it? I think Andre's a no-brainer because of the cheapness of him in January.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. He looked like he said his goodbyes the other day. I think we missed a chance there with Lavia. And it worked out at Chelsea, but a lot of people don't work out at Chelsea. A lot of people don't work at Man United. It's the clubs that you're getting into. Look at Gravenberch. He didn't work out at Bayern Munich. Doesn't mean he's a bad player.
No, not at all. Well, half the players we've signed, like not Mane, Salah was a flop. And then we sign him, and he's suddenly the best right winger on the planet. So
De Bruyne was a flop at Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. I have just the amount that were flops at Chelsea. Torres was great for us, and then he went to Chelsea and flopped. So
Shevchenko flopped at Chelsea. That's another one. Shevchenko is a big one.
This should be
one of the best in the world.
This should be a segment. This just Chelsea flops and
Chelsea
just list
flops.
The whole.
We'll get that into next week's episode. Next week's episode is Chelsea flops against.
That'd be so good.
And that's the good thing about the Klopp era and FSG coming in, but not so many flops. The only major flops have signed the panic ones, and we shouldn't be doing panic signings. This is the thing; we shouldn't be doing panic signings.
Well,
I did a signing.
I did a video like a few weeks ago where I ranked like every Klopp signing, and I think the only ones that were like flops was like Keita. I said Thiago, which I got a lot of stick for. Marco Grujic and Steven Corker. Like they were and Alex Manninger. Like they were the only ones that were like bad. Do you know what I mean? Like or like just
Adrian
didn't. I like Adrian. I'm not saying he's great, but. Yeah. I think I'd put him as bad. Yeah, but he. I feel bad for him though. He
was a decent keeper. I think he was a decent keeper. But when that Champions League final happened, that was it. There were no going back. And
I felt bad for him. He shouldn't have got the abuse he did. Like, give him a bit of stick, but don't threaten his family and stuff. But like, he doesn't. He only signs players that he wants, and he makes it work. And like. He just, like you said, he just doesn't sign bad players. He just turns great players into, just world beaters.
Yeah.
Origi, I'm not being Origi. Anyone who thought Origi was going to score the goals he did is lying. Like, just.
I don't think Origi's that good, mate. I honestly don't think he's that good.
I don't.
But I mean, he didn't really play good as a whole when he came on for us. But when he started games, he wasn't that good. It was mainly when he came on as the impact sub. I just think he was an absolute game changer.
Yeah, but that's what Klopp does. He just turns these players into like Henderson. He was nearly gone a few years before, and then suddenly he's the captain and he's playing the best football of his life. Like Klopp can get anyone, and he can turn not anyone, but he can 90% of players and just turn them into world beaters. So when you were saying earlier, people saying trust Klopp, and obviously I know you said you do. Like I agree with that sentiment. Whoever he gets, I still trust them with Endo. So. Whatever does happen or doesn't happen, I'm sure he'll find a way to make it work, whether it's with FSG, the support of FSG, or without the support of FSG.
And I worry, mate. Because if Klopp does go 2026, we've got FSG with someone else.
Yeah.
And that's where it could just go all wrong, if I'm honest. As much as I hate to say it, it could all go wrong.
Yeah,
and this is why I want to see Klopp with an ambitious owner. I do. I've been watching the Wrexham documentary, right? I don't know if you've seen it. And I love what they're doing.
Yeah.
I love how ambitious they are, right? And they're in it for the right reasons. They've gone to Wrexham. There's no reason, there's no connection for Wrexham, but they went and visited the town and stuff like that. They love the place. They love the story behind it. You won't see John Henry down at local in Liverpool having a pint.
No, God, no.
And these are Hollywood superstars.
Yeah.
I'm saying these are Hollywood superstars. These are random
fly over every week. Yeah.
So they don't have to be there every week, but it's just sure. But I mean, God rest his soul, the Leicester City owner that was Leicester City. Look how much he cared about the club.
Yeah.
Look how much he cared about the club, and look how much he wanted the club to succeed. And that's what you want. That's what you want. The ambition and. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are trying to do everything they can to get. They want Wrexham to be in the Premier League, and they're doing it the right way, and they're not going. They're using the favour for the right thing, and they want the club. They bought the stand back as well, didn't they? They want everything.
Yeah.
They want the village, the town to be
just bought Wrexham. Yeah.
It's a big village in it, but they want the town to to be successful and grow, and that's what I love.
Yeah, some owners are like that. I mean, they've sort of inspired. Tom Brady has just bought, is it Birmingham City, or he's bought shares in it or something? Like everyone now is sort of following that mold, because I've not seen one bad comment on Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney owning Wrexham. So like, they should. I'm not saying they're the perfect owners. Of course, they're still fairly new to it, but they should be the model. Their mindset is it's like they're fans. They are fans who. But I think it was the playoff final, and like they're interviewing them. They've got scarves on. They're on the pitch. They're like celebrating with the players, and that's how it should be. Not like Sheikh Mansour, who's been to 2 City games, which was the first one they played, and then the last game of last season, which is like a 15-year difference, and then you've got our owners who was, I think the only game they turned up for was the Chelsea game, and it wasn't even at Anfield. Like,
it came up just to sprag on them. That's why it came. It didn't come for us. It came to sprag on them to FA. That's what it did.
That's what I mean. So they are the model that you should follow. There's not many teams in the league who have owners who are. Amanda Staveley is good at Newcastle, but
she cares. She has the right ambitions.
Yeah. So like you said, it's what you said there, spot on. That there needs to be more owners who care about the club, not just doing it for financial benefit.
Yeah. And I think if we had an ambitious owner with someone that cares behind Jurgen Klopp, I think we'd win the lot.
Yeah.
I think I can't believe that there's going to be an opportunity where we lose Klopp and we're not taking over Man United's titles. We're still title behind them. We're still title behind them. And if Klopp leaves and we're still title behind them, that's ridiculous. That's what a wasted opportunity.
It's a shame. It's a shame that City have done as well as they have, because I do think that's another factor. Like, if City weren't there, we'd have won every league for the past 6-7 seasons.
Do you think City's been there as inspired us to go do better as well? Do you think we'd have got like 90-something points if City weren't there?
Maybe not, no, but
I can push each other, aren't we? I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you are right in that. Like, Arsenal had United, and then it was Chelsea against United, and like Mourinho coming in and sparring with them both. So yeah, I mean, you maybe are right, but at the same time, Klopp's not someone who sort of goes, oh well, everyone here is easy. We can sort of take our foot off the gas a bit. I feel like he'd still be going to them, right? Go out there and win, get at them.
I think we'd have won titles, but I don't think it would have been like 90-something points.
No, it'd be like the standard that it was before City came in and got like 100. So I agree with that.
Well, mate, that's our first podcast together. This is the episode 5 of You'll Never Talk Alone. We've got Brentford game coming up this weekend. Quick prediction for that Brentford game, by the way. We've also just drawn to Luton. It's a big game. It wasn't a big game really initially, but it's now a big game. I'm drawn to Luton. It's a must-needed 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we home or away? I feel like we're home, aren't we?
Home this weekend.
See, I want to say like 3-1 again, but I'm gonna I'm going to say 2-1. I think Brentford will score first.
I can't deal with these. I can't deal with these close games anymore, mate. I'm not dealing with that. I need a 6-0 on Sunday. I need a 6-0 on Sunday.
We need like the Toulouse game, like a few weeks ago, just a nice.
To me, a 2-1. It might be a good performance, but it's not screaming good performance at the moment.
No.
I need a good performance, mate. I need a good performance. I need to see a good performance. I need a bounce back.
I agree.
And I need
something just nice
a
reaction.
And relaxing. Yeah, I need a reaction. I'm going to go 3-0, but I want a 6-0.
Is this just out of?
I think 3-0 I'm content. 6-0 I'm smiling.
Oh, the hell, 3-0. What a dream world we live in. I love it.
But yeah, so it's a funny weekend for me FPL as well. I think all my players are at home, which I've been struggling to find the captain this weekend.
Honest to God, I think I got 20 points last week. Everyone got sent off for me.
But it was a poor one. I brought Diaz out thinking he wasn't going to be back.
Yeah, I did as well.
But luckily, I replaced him with Bowen, and Bowen scored, so it wasn't too bad, that one.
I think I had Odegaard missed the game, and Haaland went off after 45 minutes, and then Udogie got sent off, and it was like, it's all come crumbling down now.
I don't think anyone got above 30. I don't think anyone got 40. I don't think everyone got 40.
Oh, really?
Very rarely got 40 from what I saw. In terms of the top 7, I think me and Charlie they got like 30 something, and everyone else got 20s. It was a tough weekend.
It was awful. Thanks for that, Luton. Appreciate that.
I know I captained Nunez thinking I've just done an absolute masterclass. I thought everyone's got Salah as captain, right? I've got Nunez. I think Nunez will score 2 at least against Luton, and everyone's be like, "Oh, Salah's not got the points. Why aren't the captain? No one else has Nunez." That's for I captain Nunez. If I captain Salah, no else captain Salah, I'm not catching him up. Nunez, I thought that was an absolute masterclass until he missed.
I'm like that with Haaland. My girlfriend plays fantasy league, and she's like, "Oh, look, I got loads of points of Haaland. That's great." I was like, "Oh, everyone's got loads of points of Haaland."
As I'm saying, I'm not had Haaland since the beginning. I'm not had Haaland since the beginning, so I'm miles behind because my strikers won't pick. Watkins started shite.
And now he's suddenly like the best player in the world.
That's what I'm saying. I had Isaac, who wasn't starting games. I had Callum Wilson, and they started Isaac, and Isaac was scoring. I changed it around. And they fucking started playing Callum Wilson. I swear the week I changed it around, the week I put Isaac in and Callum Wilson started, I thought you were having a laugh, and Callum Wilson scored.
Yeah, he's injured now, and he's out for. He got injured in the Champions League.
Took Isaac completely out now. Anyway, guys, thank you everyone that has listened, whether you've listened on Spotify, whether it's Google, Apple, Amazon. If you've watched on YouTube, thank you everyone that has watched or listened. Make sure you please leave a like on whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Give it 5 stars as well, please. If you do want to rate it, please give it 5 stars. If you want to give it 1 star, would like comments and tell us why it's a 1 star, because I don't mind bad ratings and I like criticism. But as long as it's...
we just want to know why. We just want to know why there's criticism.
If we can get the feedback off it and maybe be better in the future for you guys, we want to make sure we're the best podcast around for Liverpool fans. Even if you're a rival fan, please listen. We want the rival banter on here as well. This has been episode 5 of You'll Never Talk Alone. Myself, Damon, Lew, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure you do give us the best ratings you can. Thank you everyone for listening, and You'll Never Talk Alone.